For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Alrighty, welcome back everyone. We just got into my all-transfer team. We did the offensive side of the ball today. Tomorrow we'll do the defensive, but let's get into my group of 5 playoff contenders, because there's a lot of them. The group of 5 has been guaranteed a playoff spot going forward. The top 5 conference champions are automatically in, and that would include one of these group of 5 teams. Most likely, almost definitely would include one of these group of 5 teams. And I want to break down some of the teams that I'm watching very, very closely going into this year. And let's start with a team that I think might be a little bit under the radar. I don't know if they are anymore, frankly, and it's the Memphis Tigers. I think they can do just remarkable things in the AAC this year. Bringing back Seth Hannigan when I'm sure there were a lot of programs that were after him is absolutely huge. Memphis has an opening to be a team that can insert themselves into that playoff conversation the first time that the group of 5 has a automatic spot. Obviously, Cincinnati was able to kick down the door in 2021, but definitely a bigger opening this time around. They also brought in some big-time transfers. Mario Anderson coming in from South Carolina at running back is absolutely huge, a really, really good player there. Elijah Herring, the leading tackler for Tennessee a year ago, came in. Kobe Minor was one of the biggest players in the portal at safety from Indiana, so they got some game changers. There's no two ways about that, and they definitely have a talent level that a lot of people around college football, or around at least the group of 5, envy a ton. So the AAC feels like the conference that is going to get the team in. It feels like the conference that we're going to see the conference champion find their way into the playoff, but who knows? Regardless, Memphis is going to be one of those teams that is in the thick of that conversation. I think they're coming off a 10-win season. They lead the way in odds to make the playoff for the G5 at plus 600. So they're a team that absolutely will have a ton to say about what that playoff team is going to be from the group of 5. And I'm just fascinated to watch the Tigers this upcoming year. And then we have Boise State, a team that was a part of the national conversation for quite some time, has taken a little bit of a step back since Chris Peterson walked out the door, but is still a huge team and definitely brought in a big-time transfer in Malachi Nelson. Did not need to bring in a ton else. They're not replacing a ton of people from the team a year ago, and the biggest person that they're returning is Ashton Jainty, one of the best running backs in the entire country. He could play anywhere in the entire country and maybe start for anywhere in the entire country, but he's in Boise, and they're absolutely happy to have him there, happy that he is a Bronco, and he could win the Doak Walker Award. That's how dominant this kid could be in the Mountain West this upcoming year, and he would be a massive reason if the Broncos found their way into the playoff this upcoming year. So Boise State is one of those teams that we tend to see a lot of in college football world, but I think we might just be seeing a ton of them going forward in the playoff because they're one of those teams that you know is going to play really good football pretty much every fall. So it'll be fascinating to watch that unfold. One of the teams from last year that made tons of noise was Liberty, and it's because of the guy on your screen right there, Caden Salter. He is one of the most electric quarterbacks, one of the most electric players in all of college football. He can do just ridiculous things. He flirted with the transfer portal but decided to come back to Liberty, and they're very, very happy he did because he is pretty much the guy that holds the key. I think Liberty has a ton rolling under Jamie Chadwell. It started obviously under Hugh Freeze, but has continued, and it really is a team that I think is going to be hard to deal with for a really, really long time to come, and I think Caden Salter is one of those guys that totally transforms your team the second he steps on the field. When you talk about the playoff this upcoming year, I think a lot of people are looking forward to Cinderellas and some teams possibly from the group of 5 making runs. Frankly, I don't necessarily think that's what's going to happen. Maybe we'll do a segment on that a little bit later in the week, but if there was a team in the group of 5 that could make a run, I think it might be Liberty just because Caden Salter is a guy that can compete with essentially any defense in the entire country. So very fascinated to watch Liberty this upcoming year. I think they might just be a team that can not only get into the playoff, but maybe make some noise once they're there. Tulane is a team that I'm watching very, very closely. There were tons of turnover there. There's no two ways about that. Willie Fritz found his way out to Houston. John Summerall found his way in. Michael Pratt went off to the NFL at quarterback. They brought in Ty Thompson from Oregon. So a lot of change over there in New Orleans. But the reality is this is going to be a really good team. There's going to be a ton of teams in the AAC that have a lot to say about that playoff spot. But Tulane is absolutely going to be one of them. Their transfer portal class is frankly one of the best in the entire country. When you look at where they are and the players that they got, it's absolutely insane. They brought in Mario Williams from USC, who is an absolute force for Oklahoma, then USC, and is now at Tulane. And then Shaz Preston, a guy that didn't necessarily play too much at Alabama when he was there, but was a four-star wide receiver coming out. Tons of big-time teams were after this kid, and he can absolutely fly. So I think between Ty Thompson, between Mario Williams, Shaz Preston, I think you have a ton of dudes that are going to make big-time plays and a ton of guys that are just a tick above some of the ability and some of the talent level at the Group of Five level. So when you look at Tulane this upcoming year, I think they're going to be a team that is really, really fascinating to watch. And I think Ty Thompson is one of the most interesting players in the country this upcoming year. And then I got to give some love to South Florida. They are a team that has absolutely blown up under Alex Golesh, and he deserves the most respect in the world. Byron Brown is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the entire country. Naquan Wright is a very, very good running back right next to him, a very prominent duo in that backfield. You had Abdul Raham Yassin, who transferred in from Purdue at wide receiver. Also Sean Atkins, who is a very, very sure-handed, very good wide receiver for them that is a veteran. I think when you put all of this together, they're coming off a season where they made a huge jump record-wise from 2022 to 2023. It could happen again. This is a team that is only trending in the right direction. Alex Golesh is a huge reason for that. Frankly, I'd be a little bit surprised if he wasn't a Power 5 coach this time next year. But the reality is this is a team that can absolutely make some noise, be a team that makes their way into the playoff. And if they do, it is one of the best rebuilds that you have ever seen in college football. Alex Golesh has done one of the most remarkable things that we have ever seen if that happens. So definitely will be a fascinating team to watch. And then I threw kind of a wild card in here. There are some other teams that deserve some respect. App State definitely in this conversation, but UNLV is a team that I really want everyone to watch very closely because they made a Mountain West Championship appearance a year ago. Didn't come out on the right side of that, obviously, but still is a team that can do remarkable things. Absolutely has one of the best players in the country in Ricky White. Did incredible things for them a year ago, and somehow they were able to keep him in Las Vegas. So he's going to do incredible things this year. Matthew Sluka coming in from Holy Cross is a huge pickup at quarterback. He's kind of that Jaden Mayava type quarterback where he's not necessarily going to beat you with his arm. He's not the most potent passer in the entire world, but is a very, very good runner and is a competent passer. So he's going to open up a lot of running lanes. And when you see that offense for UNLV, it's really, really hard to defend, especially when that quarterback can get out on the edge and make you hurt with his legs. So Matthew Sluka is one of the most important quarterbacks in the entire country when you talk about UNLV has a chance to make it to keep taking those steps forward, make it to the playoff, and maybe make some noise. So I absolutely love the Running Rebels. They returned 63% of their production from a year ago without their quarterback. So that's obviously a huge boost. I think if Matthew Sluka comes in and absolutely deals the way he did at Holy Cross, I think they could be a really, really fun team to watch and maybe, just maybe, make the playoff under Barry Odom. So fascinating team, definitely a team that I love a lot, will be one of the teams that I start a dynasty with in College Football 25, that's for sure. So it'll be fascinating to watch that unfold. I think when you look at the Group of Five, there's more names to go around than ever before because there's a position there that is absolutely guaranteed, and everyone in the Group of Five is looking at that saying, we have a shot to get in. I think in the past they were questioning, are we going to get in? Do we really have a shot to get in? Or are we going to get squeezed out no matter what we do? Because that's kind of happened in the past. We saw it happen with UCF in 2017 where they went undefeated and still got squeezed out. And it really took kind of a rough year in 2021 for some big-time teams for Cincinnati to get in. But those times are gone. Group of Five is guaranteed a spot, and it'll be fascinating to watch who fills that spot and maybe if they can make some noise once they get there. It'll be very, very fascinating to watch. But let's make our last break here, and then when we get back, we're going to talk about a Top 10 Tuesday. I'm going to give you the best games in 2024. Obviously, these are not necessarily the most important game, not necessarily the most impactful games, but these are the games that I am probably most excited to watch, may be the best way to put this. But we'll break that down right after this, so stick with us.